Hello, welcome to Free Maths Lessons. Today we're going to be looking at practice paper set 3, June 2023, and this is paper 1 foundation. So let's get started without delay. First question, 9/10 as a percentage. So we're looking to write 9/10 as a percentage. So first let's change 9/10 into a decimal. 9/10. Remember, when you have a place value things, you have your units, then you have your tenth, then the hundredth, and so on. Okay, so if you have 9/10, that means you have 9 in 10th column. That means you have decimal there and 0 there. So that actually 9/10 is 0.9 as a decimal, but we've been asked to write it as a percentage. Okay, so if you're writing it as a percentage, then we need to change decimal to percentage. How do it make decimal into percentage? Multiply it by 100 and you get 90%. So if you go from decimal to percentage, you multiply by 100 and you get 90%. That's not the only way to get there though. You can change this 9/10 into a fraction that's out of 100. How do I go from 10 to 100? You're multiplying it by 10. So you multiply numerator by 10 as well, and that gives you 90. Now 90 out of 100, so percentage is always out of 100. So if you have 90 out of 100, then we can write that down as 90%. And that's your first mark, that's done. Write down 1 multiple of 12. Now again, we looked at it before as well, okay? Multiple of 10 means more than, multiple means more than 1. 1/12. So if you have just 1/12, that's 12. That's a multiple of 12 because you have 1/12. And if you have more than 1/12, two lots of 12, that gives you 24. So it's easy to distinguish between the factor and multiple. You need to make sure that you're looking at multiple and not factor. Common mistake is people write down factors of 12 rather than multiple. So you can write anything that is in 12 times table. 120, 144, 1200, 12 million, anything that 12 will go into. So 24, 12, 36, anything that is multiple of 12. You only need one number, okay? You don't need all three of them. As long as you write any one of these number or anything that has a 12 in 12 times table, that would have got you that 1 mark, okay? Work out the mode. Now we have, on averages, you have 3 different things, actually 4 different things when you're looking at it. There are 3 averages: mode, median, and the mean. Mode is the most common, median is the middle number when you order them, and the mean is when you add them all up and divide by how many there are. So if you're looking for a mode and it's only 1 mark, so you can literally see from what you got here, okay? So which number happens the most, which number occurs the most, okay? So 4, we see that number 4 twice compared to anything else. So mode value here is 4, most common, something that happens most often. So 4 happens to be more common here. That's 1 mark done. What is the mean value? So to work out the mean value, we need to add them all up, okay? Mean is when you add them all up and divide by how many there are. So I'm going to again try and look at it as number bonds. Okay, so we can say 7 and 3, that gives you 10. Then I'll have 5, 8 and 8, that's 16. So that's 8 and that's 8, that's 16. And then I'll have 11 and 11, that's 22. So again, I got 30, 48. Altogether, I would have 48. Remember, it's non-calculator paper. You're trying to make sure that you find a way to actually get to the answer without making massive mistakes. So we get 48, and how many numbers there are? So you just count, make sure you don't forget any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So to work out mean, I need to do 48, that's the total, divide by 8. And that would give you 6. So my mean value is 6. So on average, there are 6 per person. If you make it same size tower, you will get all of those to be 6. Every single one of them can have 6 each. So no one has to have less than 6. No one has to have more than 6. So if that's what the average, mean average is. You're leveling all of those amount that you're getting. Okay. Question 4. How many centimeters are there in 3.5 meter? To actually answer that question is too much. So you need to know the difference between the centimeter and meter. So one of the way you can remember, centimeter is roughly width of your finger, okay? They are in the ruler as well, okay? How big the centimeter is, you can actually see at the end of the ruler, and you can work out how big the centimeter are. And then you know how big the meter is, okay? All of the doors, generally majority of the doors that you actually walk through are 2 meter tall, because the average human or average height of a person is roughly 1.7 meter, okay? So we're looking at 2 meter, the height of the door is 2 meter. So if you want to measure half of the door, how many of these width of your nails gonna take to measure half of the door? So we can use that as an example in a way to work out exchange from 1 meter to centimeter. So is it going to be 10, 100 or 1000? I can't just measure 10 of these and say it will be half of the door. And if I do 1000 of those, that's way bigger. So we know it's going to be 100 centimeter in 1 meter. And once you know the difference, 1 meter is 100 centimeter, we can use that. 3.5 meter, that's what we're trying to get. What would that be? So remember, if I go from meter to centimeter, I'm going from 1 to 100. So I need to multiply by 100. So if I multiply this by 100, I get 350, because 3 meter multiplied by 100 gives you 300, and 0.5 gives you that 50. So 3.5 meter multiplied by 100 gives you 350 centimeter. So if you write something like this down, you will get 1 mark, and getting that correct 350 centimeter gives you the second mark. Work out simple add and subtract, okay? If you had to do multiplication or division, you can use BidMash, but here, even if you use BidMash, you can add or subtract in any order. That's what happens in the BidMash, okay? You have these things are separate, bracket, indices, and division and multiplication are together, and add and subtract are together. So as long as you do add and subtract in any order, it doesn't matter. So we're just trying to work out, and it's too much. You can use column method. Let's write it down. The key thing is make sure you line up units, tens and hundreds. 8 units, 12 tens, so you carry one forward. So we got 1628. That would get you 1 mark. Now we need to take away 139. So we got 1628, take away 139. Can't take away 9 from 8, so we borrow one of the 10 from here. So we're left with 9. Can't take away 3 from 1, so we borrow one of the from here. So 11 take away 3 is 8. And then we left with 5, so that would be 4, that's 1. So we get 1489, and that's your second mark there. Question 6. First part of the show starts at 8:05. It lasts 45 minutes. So we need to add 45 minutes to this. 8:05, add 45 minutes. Okay. So we get to 8:50. That's 1 mark. And always write down when it ends. So if it ends at 8:50 p.m. Or if you wanted to write in 24-hour clock, you can write in 24-hour clock, and that would be 2050. Okay. B. After the first part, there is a 20-minute break. So we finish at 8:50, and then there is a 20-minute break. Let me just quickly read that part. So at 8:50 plus 20 minutes. Remember, it's a time, not base 10, base 60. So that will give you 9, 10. And then the second part lasts 35 minutes. So we got to add that 35 minutes. And that will give you 9:45. 8:40, then 9:35, that still works as long as you did these two parts correctly. If you get there, 1 mark. If you add these two Add these correctly, get the second mark, the full mark there. So we get 2 marks for completing the table. So it's the first spin, what's the score you get? You could get 7, 12 or 18 because of that spinner. And when you spin it again, you would get the similar choices. And remember, we're adding them, not multiplying them, we're adding those all together. So 7 and 7 is 14, 7 and 12 is 19, 7 and 18 is 25. 12 and 7 is 19, 12 and 12 is 24, 12 and 18 is 30. 18 and 7 is 25, 18 and 12 is 30, and 18 and 18 is 36. As long as you got these correct, you would get full 2 marks. But if you made mistakes somewhere, you lose 1 mark, because it says as long as you have 4, 5 or more correct, okay, you would get 1 mark. So even if you made mistakes in 4 of them, you still only get 1 mark here. Second part of the question, still relying on the first part. Work out the probability that score is a square number. So we need to write down which one of those numbers are square numbers. Okay, so that's 25 is a square number. Number multiplied by itself gives you a square number. So like 5 times 5. It's the area of the square. That's the square number, which is 25. So that's the square number. Then we have 6 times 6. That gives you 36. So 36 is a square number. Okay. And the one before that, just quickly, let's look at it. 4 times 4, that gives you 16. So 16 is a square number. We don't have 16. And the one before that is 3 times 3, which is 9. So 9 is a square number. So these are the one that we need to look for. So we got 25, 25, and 36. There's no other square number. We have 3 numbers, that's the square numbers, out of 9 altogether. So the probability that you will get square number is 3 choices, that's in our favor. 3 choices, that's square numbers, out of 9 choices altogether. So probability of getting a square number is equal to 39. It doesn't ask you to simplify it, but just be careful and simplify always. Okay, always simplify your fraction. So 39 simplifies to 1/3. So probability that you pick a square number, you get a square number when you add those two score together, you get 1/3. And that's 2 marks. Here's the information about 5 basketball teams. Away wins. So the gray area means away win. The black area means the home win. So we need to work out which team has the most home wins. So which one has the highest dark area? You can clearly see from the dark area there, the Manchester has the highest one, the 8 home wins. Okay, so I'm going to write that down saying 8 home wins, and it's Manchester. So 1 mark for that. Which 2 teams has the same number of away wins? Okay, so just trying to look through these. Okay, so it seems like that one and that one, the grey bars are exactly the same thing. So Bristol and Plymouth. So we're going to try and work out how many of the away win for Bristol is. So we finish at 7 here, and then finish at 13. So that's 6 here. Okay. And that finishes at 13 in total games. Okay, so 7 add 6 that gives you that 13. So 7 there for the black and 6 for the grey. Okay, and let's see here. We finish at 5. Okay, and then we finish at 11. So again, that's 6. So that's the second one. We got Bristol and Plymouth has the same number of away wins. Okay, so those 2 teams have the same number of away wins. So we have Bristol and Plymouth. Okay, we still need to use the bars for the next question. How many more wins than the away wins were there altogether? So we need to work out how many away wins there were altogether and how many home wins there were altogether, and then we need to work out how many more home wins. Okay, so home wins, how many more home wins did we have? How many more wins did we have at home than away? So we need to find the total for both of those, and that will get you the marks. Remember, find the total for home wins, find the total for away wins and take one away from the other. Okay. So we've already got few numbers for the home wins and few numbers for the away teams. So that one is 4, that one's 8, that one's 5, and the last one is again 4. 4 home wins for those. So add them all together. How many are there for home? Okay. So for home we have 7 add 8, 15. Add that 5. So 7 add 8 add 5 gives you 20. 20 add 4 and 4. So 28 home wins. Okay, so 28 for home wins. Then add the away wins. So we're going from 4 to 9. So there's 5 there. I'm going to circle it. And then we're going from 8 to 12. So there's 4 there. And then we already know there's 6 and there's 1 there. Okay. So if I add the circle numbers, so we go 6 and 9 and 10. 6 and 6 is 12, so 10 and 12 is 22. So we got 22 away wins. So these are the home wins. And then we go away, 22 away wins. So if I wanted to work out the difference, how many more home wins did we have than the away? So 28 take away 22, that would get you that last time. Okay. So we had 28 home wins and then 22 away wins. So how many more? So 28 take away 22, so 6 is the last answer. So you get 1 mark, 1 mark and 1 mark for doing that correct. Okay. Solve these equations. Again, my views on solving equation, do same thing on both sides. Okay, something at 17 gives you 28. So both sides are equal to each other. That's what equal sign means. Whatever I do to the left hand side, I have to do same thing to the right hand side. They both equal. So if I take away 17 to work out what x is, take away 17 from here. So add 17, take away 17 gives you 0, and you're left with x. And then if I did take away 17 from here, I need to take away 17 from that side as well, because both sides are equal to each other. Okay? To keep the equality, I need to take away 17. So 28 take away 17 will give you 11. So we get x is equal to 11. That's it. And if you do the same thing again, you can get this one answered quickly as well. I need to do the same thing. Equal sign means both sides are equal to each other. So if I do something to the left hand side, I need to do same thing to the right hand side as well. How do I get rid of that? Divide by 3. Because p over 3 means p divided by 3. I need to multiply this side by 3. So 3 and 3 gives you just 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So you're left with just p on the left hand side. But if I multiply left hand side by 3, I need to multiply the right hand side by 3 as well, and you get 18. So p is equal to 18. Now again, you need to get that correct. Okay, you could use this mental math, but I would prefer that you do the same thing on both sides, so you can answer some of the difficult question as well if it comes across. Plants cost 240 each. You can use this table to work out the cost of different number of boxes. Okay, so work out the cost of 3 plants. So we have 1 plant that costs 240, 2 plant that costs 480. Remember, every plant will cost 240. So 240 and 240 gives you 480. So if I need 1 more plant, I can use multiplication or I can use the add. If I have 1 plant and then I buy 2 plants, so I'm saying 1 will cost you 240 and then 2 will cost you 480. I add them together and that will give you £7.20. Okay. So 3 plant will give you 1 add 2 gives you 3, so that add that gives you 720. Or I could have used this 240 multiplied by 3. You can do it in any way. Okay, so 3 lots of 2 will give you £6, and 3 lots of 40p will give you £1.20. Okay, so I can do 2 times 3 is £6, and 40 times 3, it gives you £1 and 20p. So we get 720 again. It's non-calculator paper, so you will have to find a way to do 240 times 3. Ethan pays £52.80 for some of these plants. Work out the number of plants he buys. Okay. So we need to do 52. We need to do 52.80. That's how much he pays. And every plant cost him £2.40. So we need to do 52.80 divided by 240. Bit tedious, but we can actually get there. All you can do is, we know from the table, £24 will buy you 10 plants. So we can work with that if you wanted to. Okay, so 24. What are you left with? You're left with 80p. Okay, and you take away 24 from that, you're left with 2. So 28.80. So now again, that's 10 plants. Okay, now again take away another £24. What are you left with? £4.80. So that's another 10 plants. And then that means we already bought 20 plants and we have £4.80 left over. £4.80 will get you what? 2 plants. So take away another £4.80, that's 2 plants. So how many plants did we buy altogether? We brought 22 plants. 52.80 divided by 240. You can write here as a fraction and simplify it. Okay? So again, multiply by 10 and we get 528 over 24. You can do that calculation and it will come out to be 22, because you can use a bus-stop method and work it out. Okay, let's try it quickly. 528 divided by 24. 24 times 2 gives you 48. 48, so 4 remainder. Take away 48 from 52, 4 remainder. 24 times 2 gives you again 48. So, and 0 remainder. So 24 times 22 will give you 528. So again we get 22 plants. Use the table to simplify or write 960 to 12 as a ratio in its simplest form. How many plants would 960 will buy you? 5 plants will buy you 12. From £12 you can buy 5 plants. 960 means if I take away 240 from 12, that'll give me 960. So that means will buy me 1 less plant than 5. So 960 will buy me 4 plants. 960 will buy me 4 plants. And £12 will buy me 5 plants. So that's the ratio in simplest form. Shopkeeper uses this formula to work out the cost of bags of oranges. C is equal to 1.8 times N. Okay, and the C is a cost in pounds. So you pay cost you £1.80p, and again number of bags, how many bags. N is the number of bags. Work out the cost of 5 bags. So all you have to do is saying, okay, 1.8 and replace that N. N is the number of bags. Okay, so replace N with 5. So we're doing 1.8 times 5. Okay. So again, if you wanted to use any other method, bus-stop method, anything, but remember you can multiply decimal without decimal first. So we need to find out what 18 times 5 is. I prefer that you use a grid method rather than the column method. In this case you can, but let's just use a grid method. So 10 and 8, that'll give you 18. And you're multiplying it by 5. So 10 times 5 is 50. So basically just getting that 5. And 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, so we get 18 times 5 is actually 90, because 8 times 5 is 40, carry forward, 5 times 1 is 5, add 1. So we would have 90 as our answer, but remember it's 1.8 not 18, so we need to divide that 90 by 10. So we will get 9 as an answer. 1.8 times 5 gives you 9. So the cost of 5 bags would be £9. there are 3 oranges in each bag, and each bag will cost you £1.80. Okay, and there are 3 oranges in each bag. Work out the cost of one orange, and if they each cost the same, give your answer in pence. Okay, so we need to work out cost of one orange. If 3 oranges cost you £1.80, so you're doing £1.80 divided by 3. Again, you can do it a few different ways. 0.6 each, and now we need, that's 0.6 pound. Okay, if I wanted to change that into pence, I can say 180 pence divided by 3. Now makes more sense. 180 divided by 3, that will give you 60. So that's 60p. So I'm not looking for an answer in pound, I want the answer in pence. So it should be 60 pence. Rearrange to make R the subject. So if I want to make R the subject, we need to get R by itself. I'm going to write the question again. I need to get rid of that 3. How do I get rid of that 3? Again, doing the same thing on both sides. I need to take away 3 from here. So add 3, take away 3 gives you 0. So you're left with R. But I can't just take away 3 from the right hand side. I need to do the same thing from the left hand side as well. So I need to take away 3 from P as well. So P take away 3 gives you R. That's the subject. R equal to P take away 3. That's it. It even tells you what you need to round to. Rounding each number to nearest 10. So round each one of those to nearest 10, you'll get 1 mark. 78 to nearest 10. Is it going to be close to 70 or 80? We know it's going to be close to 80. Multiply by 11.6. Is it going to be close to 10 or 20? It's going to be close to 10. And 39. Is it going to be close to 40 or 30? We know it's going to be close to 40. Once you work that out, that gets you first mark. You can do 80 times 10. What's 80 times 10? And then divide it by 40. So that will also get you 1 more mark. That's 2 marks. And then solving that will get you the 3rd mark. So you can divide top and bottom by 10. That gives you 80 over 4. Divide top and bottom by 4. That will give you 20 as an answer. 80 divided by 4 would be 20. And that's how simple it is. Majority of you making mistakes over here. Rounding that to 12 rather than 10. You need to round it to nearest 10. Okay, so don't round it to 12. Keep rounding it to nearest 10. Generally, these kind of questions, it doesn't tell you what you need to round it to. You always round it to one significant figure. It means first number that has a value, first non-zero value. Okay, so it would round to 80, 10 and 40 even if you round it to one significant figure, and you would get the same answer. So if you don't want to go through the big trouble, okay, a lot of you actually would have put a lot of calculation around it to work out what would 80 times 12 going to be, and then divide that by 40. Don't go through that trouble. You will get 0 marks or 1 marks at max. Okay, you need to be able to round it to given amount or one significant figure. Should be really straightforward when you're estimating it. Okay, estimate means you're not getting the exact answer. You're working out the rough value. So it should be quick. Okay, so this is equation of the line y equal to x squared plus x. If the x coordinate is -3, means x value is -3, we need to work out what the y value is. Okay, so y value comes from here. Y is equal to -3 squared is -3 entire thing squared plus -3. I'm using the brackets around it so you don't get confused with the signs. Okay, -3 squared means -3 times -3. That gives you +9. Okay, -3 times -3. That gives you +9. And then you're adding -3 to that. That means you're just taking away 3. 9 take away 3, which is 6. So when you add negative numbers to a positive number, you're cancelling the 3 positive with 3 negatives. That means you're left with 6, a +6. So that gets you 2 marks. Right. Quickest way to do this is just think through that. Okay. But the easiest way, and majority of you will remember way, is work out what 30 times 44 is. So we need to work out which one's bigger. Is 30 times 44 greater than 50 times 90? I know the answer is no. Okay. Why? Because if I write 30 as 15 times 2 times 44. And associate that times 2 with 44, I get 15 times 88. Because multiplication is associative, means you can associate that 2 with 44 or that 15, it doesn't matter. Okay, so 15 times 88 should give you exactly the same as 30 times 44. Okay, and so 15 times 88 obviously not bigger than 15 times 90, and that's what you needed to say. But majority would have done 30 times 44. So you're saying 30 times 44. So 44 times 30. Let's just use a grid method to work it out. 40 and 4 multiplied by 30. So 3 times 4 is 12. Add 2 zeros. So remember it's 1200. So 1 from 30, 1 from 40. 3 times 4 is 12 again. Add only 1 0 from 30. So we get this added together 1320 when I do that. And let's work out what 15 times 90 is. Again, we do the same thing. 10 and 5 multiplied by 90. 9 times 1 is 9, add 2 zeros. So that's 900. 9 times 5 is 45, add a 0. So we get 1350. Obviously 1350 is bigger, and therefore answer is no.
Hello.
Hello.
I do my questions. I do my third, okay?
Question 16. We're adding fractions. Okay. And to add fractions, remember we need to have denominator exactly the same. Okay. So we go 1/5. And 1/5 can be written as 2/10. Okay. Remember you can multiply numerator and denominator by same number. You can make that into 2/10. Multiply 5 by 2. Multiply 1 by 2. So 1/5 is exactly same as 2/10. Remember, again, let's say that's one whole thing's been cut into 5 equal parts. Struggling? So that's 1/5. One of those parts is shaded. That's 1/5. If I wanted to make it into 2/10, all I'm doing is this. The same size. Now it's 2 out of 10. Okay, that's 1/5 there. 2/10. So if I'm adding those two together, then I will need to add 1/5, which is 2/10 plus 7/10. So if I have 2/10 plus the 7 of these 10th again, so I can look at it saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So how many 10th do I have? I have now 9 10th. Okay, and that's why you don't add the denominator. It's 9 lots of 10th that you get when you add those two together. Whereas the multiplying fraction is slightly different. Okay, we're multiplying 3/5 with 7 halves. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're multiplying 3/5 with 7 halves. Okay, so we multiply numerators together. 3 times 7 will give you 21, and 5 times 2 gives you 10. That's 1 mark if you multiply them up. But he's saying give your answer as a mixed number. So we have 21 10th. Okay, so 10 10th will give you one whole one. So we have 2 lots of 10 goes into 21 with the 1 left over. So 2 will give you 20 10th plus that 1 10th. So that's your answer. 1 mark for that, 1 mark for this one here. Buyer charges £5 for a haircut. Reasonable. And he charges 10% extra for a hair gel. One day, 25 customers had a haircut. 16 of these asked for hair gel. Work out the total amount Leo charges his customer that day. Okay, so we can work out, okay, £5 first, work out what 10% is. 5-mark question for really straightforward work. Okay, so work out what 10% of £5 is. Okay. So we're working out 10% of £5. So divide 5 by 10, and which gives you 50p. So 10% of £5 is 50p. And that's the main things, one of the things you need to know. And now that's 10% extra. So these 16 customer, he charges that 50p extra. So we can do it quickly saying, okay, what would be 16 times 50p going to be? So 2 lots of 50p will give you £1. So 16 lots of 50p will give you £8. So he charges £8 extra, but everyone else, to all 25 customers, will pay £5, initial £5. So you get 1 mark there, 1 mark there. Okay. Then we need to work out what would you get altogether for 25 customers. So we need to do 25 multiplied by 5. So you would get £125 from 25 customers at just a basic £5 rate, plus that £8 from those 16 customers that asked for gel. That's your third mark. And the fourth mark comes from just doing the 125 plus this £8 extra for the gel that he charges, and it gets you £133. And if you get that last one, that gets you the fourth mark. So doing this one here, that's fourth mark, and that's your fifth mark. So this is really straightforward. Make sure you any calculation you do or any calculation you have to do, you show working out for that part. Solving this equation. Now again, 2 marks. Remember we did solve equation earlier on. Okay, so if you try and follow the method, then it makes it a lot easier. We got x over 7. I'll write it again so you can see it better, which is equal to 4. Now there are 2 things we can do on both sides to get x by itself. We want to work out what x is going to be at the end. So first thing we need to look at is saying, okay, I need to get rid of that 7 or I need to get rid of that negative 3. You can do either one. Okay, it's up to you how you want to look at it. First, I'm going to get rid of that negative 3. How do I get rid of the negative 3? You add 3 to both sides. So if I add 3 to both sides, I would get x over 7 minus 3 plus 3 gives you 0, and 4 add 3 gives you 7. So something divided by 7 gives you 7. How do I get rid of that 7? Multiply by 7. If I multiply left hand side, I need to multiply right hand side by 7 as well. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. So you get 1x left over. And 7 times 7 gives you 49. And it would work. Okay, you can check that by putting it 49 back in here. 49 divided by 7 is 7. 7 take away 3 is 4, which is what we have on the right hand side. So you can always check whether you get the right answer and you're solving equations. Question 19. Straight line passes through the point minus 1, 2 and 1, 6. So I would just plot those points here first. Minus 1, 2. So that's my point, minus 1, 2. So negative 1 on the x and the 2 on the y-axis. And then the other one is 1, 6. So 1 on the x and 6 on the y-axis. So that's the line I would get. Okay. And then the other straight line is y equal to x. So that's the straight line. I'm going to have to draw the dotted line. I can't draw a straight line on this one really well. Okay, so I need to look at it, this straight line here. And I need to go 2 and 4. Every 2 across, I need to go 4 down. So 2 across, 4 down. 2 across, 4 down. Alright, so you can get the point. So this is the line I would get. Keep on going. And then the other line we're saying, okay, when you draw the x equal to 4, x equal to y line or y equal to x line, so those lines will be going through these points. Y equal to x line. Where do they meet? And we wanted to work out that point. So we already know these both lines will cross through that point here. X equal to y line and the line that these 2 points go through. So work out the coordinates of point where line A and the line B will cross. And we know where they cross. They cross at this point here. So what are the coordinates of that point? It's negative 4 and negative 4. So negative 4 on the x-axis and negative 4 on the y-axis. So that's where they cross. And that was 4-mark question here for writing down the next line. So as long as you've done those properly, you would not go wrong with it. So if you pick a blue ball to win a prize, how many blue balls are there? 50. So we got 50 chances of winning, but out of how many? So we need to add them all together. So we got 180, add 170, add 50. So altogether we will have 400 balls. So then out of 400 balls, you can win on 50 of those. So probability that Caroline can win is 50 out of, not 200, 50 out of 400. Okay. That's the chance that Caroline can win. Okay, it doesn't ask you to simplify. You can leave your answer as 50 out of 400. But the second part, Caroline has 16 girls and she wins 3 of those prizes. So Caroline wins 3 out of 16. Okay, where the probability that she would win is 50 out of 400. So let's try and simplify that. So is this more than the expected number? Yes or no? We need to show our working out. So we're saying we're getting 3 out of 16. What would it be if we're trying to simplify that fraction? So if you're trying to simplify this fraction here, you can say that would be 5 out of 40. And divide top and bottom by 5 because 5 go into 40. Remember, this is what I've done. Divided top and bottom by 10. So you get 5 out of 40. 5 out of 40 is same as 1 out of 8. So she should be winning 1 out of every go. Okay. So let's try and compare it with the bottom number here. So 1/8 is same as 2/16. So she should be winning 2 prizes out of 16 goes. So when she has a 16 goes, she should be winning 2 prizes depending on the probability. But she ended up winning 3 prizes. Remember, that can happen. Okay. So that means she got more than the expected number. She should have won 2 prizes, but she ended up winning 3 prizes. So that's what we needed to say. 2/16 is bigger than 3/16. Air pressure in the tire is 3.2 bar and air is leaking at 0.2 bar per day. Okay, so on the first day, 0 day, we have 3.2 bar. On the one day after, we'll have 0.3 bar and then 2.8 bar and so on. Okay, assume that air continues to leak at the same rate. We're assuming that part here. Okay, so if it leaks at the same rate, how many days do we need to, how many days will the pressure measure 1.8 bar? So we need to look at it. So how many days do I need to drop down to get to 1.8? So I would generally do 3.2 take away 1.8 to work out what's the difference. What am I looking at? The pressure drop of 1.4. Is it 1.4? Yes. So pressure drop of 1.4, and then how many days does it take to drop the pressure by 1.4? So 1.4 divide by 0.2, or in other words 14 divided by 2, which is 7. So it would take 7 days to drop from 3.2 to 1.8. But this statement here says, in fact, the rate of the air leaks decreases each day. How does this affect your answer in part A? So remember, that's actually correct. It wouldn't be exactly the same rate. If you have less air in the tire, okay, it will not leak as quickly as it was when they had the full air. So pressure was so much more. If the air leaks out, decreases each day. So first day was 0.2, then next day it might have been 0.15 or 1.8, and then day after it will be 0.15 and then 0.1. And then it will take longer to get to 1.8. Okay, it will decrease, it will slow down the pressure that goes down. Okay, so it will take longer, you can say. So it will take longer to get to 1.8 bars. The parallelogram where AB is exactly same as AC. So these two lines are exactly the same, and it's a parallelogram. So we can say this is a parallel line to this one, that is parallel to this one here. Okay, show that the x is 38. We need to show that this angle here is 38. There's a few different ways we can get to that point. Okay, it's entirely up to us how we want to look at it. Okay, so first I would look at it saying, okay, this angle here, opposite angle in the parallelograms are equal. So we're saying angle B is 68. Again, we have to write it down. Okay, so I'm going to say angle ABC is equal to 68. Okay, if you write it on here, that's fine as well, but give reason. Generally you have to give reason, not necessarily in the foundation paper, but generally you will have to give reason. So that's ABC is 68. Why? Because the opposite angles are equal in parallelogram. And if that's 68, we know this angle here is 68 as well. Why? Because of the information. line AB and AC are exactly the same length. That means this is the isosceles triangle. If these two are 68, then what's the angle CAB or BAC going to be? Angle BAC is going to be 180 take away 68, take away 68. We can do that calculation very quickly and we come to the conclusion that it's going to be 44. This angle here is 44. Now we need to look at this part here. Okay. This 44 plus x going to be exactly same as 82. Why? Because these two lines are parallel and this is the transversal. So these are alternate angles in parallel lines. 44 plus x and 82 are alternate angles in parallel lines. Okay, so we're saying 44 plus x is same as 82. Why? Because they are alternate angles. That 44 plus x is alternate angle to this one here, 82. So if 44 plus what gives you 82? So that means x is equal to 82 minus 44. Therefore, x is equal to 38. Done. That's all we needed to do. But you need to go through this process to actually prove something. 3 marks. Fibonacci type sequence. If the sequence is Fibonacci type, means the first two terms added together gives you that term. These two terms added together gives you 47. So each term is the sum of two previous terms. It tells you here as well. Okay. So 30 add this gives you 47. So we can work that out by doing 47 take away 30. That gives me 17. So that number has to be 17. Then show that the first term is 13. So we need to do now next is 30 take away 17. That gives you that one to be 13. So that term here is 13. That's it. Here's the first and third term of Fibonacci type sequence. Again, the similar things. These two added together gives you 5. Okay. So that 5 take away this one will give you that term here. So 5 take away x. So this term here is going to be 5 take away x. So obviously, when I add these two together, that gives me this one. So if I add 5 minus x plus 5, okay, so look, 5 take away x plus 5. So these 5 and 5 are positive, so that gives me 10. And you're taking away x. Okay. We don't know what x is, so we can't do any calculation. Now, when I add these two together, 5 and 10 minus x, we get the next one. So let's do that. 5 add 10, take away x. So what's 5 add 10? It's 15. Take away x. So those are the three missing terms. That's what they needed to do. Work out the expression in terms of x for the fifth term. So the fifth term here is going to be 15 minus x. Again, 3 marks. If it's a right angle triangle, you can always use Pythagoras theorem. This two smaller sides squared gives you the square of this bigger side. So we're doing, okay. So if I wanted to work out what the base is, I need to do the square, y squared, then the x squared, and take them away. So y squared take away x squared gives you 16. So that gives you this base squared. So base is going to be square root of 16, which is 4. So now, okay, let's say the statement. Take the correct statement. Method will always give you answer which is a whole number. Well, in this example, it gave us the answer that's a whole number, but doesn't always give you. In this example, the answer gave me a whole number, but doesn't always give you the whole number as an answer. So you can try a different numbers, okay? Method will sometimes give you an answer which is a whole number. So I would take that one, okay? Because we already got a whole number and not necessarily always going to get a whole number. That you shouldn't be taking that last one because we already got a whole number from there, okay? So then next one, give an example to support your answer. So we already got a whole number. We just need to give it something that doesn't have a whole number as an answer. So let's say we make y to be 4, okay? And let's say we make this one to be 3. So we need to do 4 squared and 3 squared. 4 square is 16, 3 square is 9. So we're doing 16 take away 9. That will be here. 16 take away 9. That gives me 7. And then to work out what base is, we need to do the square root of 7. The square root of 7 is not a whole number. And that's why you have to take some time it gives you the whole number and some time it doesn't give you the whole number. Last question here. The diagram shows 3 routes, A to B. The route 1, you're going at 30 miles per hour, you're traveling 30 miles at 40 miles per hour. Route 2, you're traveling 45 miles at 50 miles per hour. This is no accurate diagram, by the way. Okay? And the route 3, 50 miles at 60 miles per hour. This is one of the easiest one to actually work with. Okay? Which of these routes takes the longest time? So we need to work out the time. The speed, distance, and time. Speed, distance, and time. So time comes from distance divided by speed. So I can do that very quickly. If you're traveling 50 miles at 60 miles per hour, okay, that's your speed, miles per hour. Okay, that's your speed there, 60 miles per hour. Then you're going to be taking 50 minutes to travel 50 miles. So if you're traveling at 60 miles in 1 hour, so 60 miles in 60 minutes, so you travel 50 miles in 50 minutes. So that's the easiest one. But again, trying to do that way, okay? So we're doing this. For route 3, we're doing 50 divided by 60, because that's the distance, that's the speed. And multiplying it by 60. Why did I multiply by 60? Because we get, whatever you get, 5 over 6, that's 5/6 of an hour. If I wanted times in minutes, I need to multiply by 60 to convert hours into minutes. So 60 divided by 60 gives you 1. So you get 1 lots of 50. So route 3 will take 50 minutes. Okay. Route 2, I need to do the same thing. 45 divided by 50. That's how long it will take of an hour. 45 over 50th of hour. But if I wanted to change it into minutes, I need to multiply by 60. Okay. So again, I can do that. And then I got 5 cancel out with 45. How many times 5 goes into 45? It's saying 9. So all I get is 9 times 6. What's 9 times 6? 54 minutes. So that's already takes to route 2 takes longer. Okay. The last one, 30 miles. So distance 30, speed is 40. And again, if I want it in minutes, I need to multiply by 60. So I can cancel again, divide by 10, divide by 10. 4 goes into 2 goes into 6, so we left 3 there, and you're left with 2. Again, that goes into 15, so you cancel that out as well. So we go 15 times 3. It takes you 45 minutes. So A takes 45 minutes, B takes 54 minutes, and C takes route 3 takes 50 minutes. So this one is the longest route basically. If you're traveling at 50 miles per hour at 45 miles distance, then you will take you longer. Longest one is to take the route 2. Majority would picking it at random wouldn't have picked that one. They would have picked this one. That would take longer. Okay. But it's 4 mark question. So you needed to show this working out that I've shown to 1 mark and then picking the right one. Believe me, people do pick the wrong one. Even though it says 54 minutes, they will go with 45 minutes one, okay, or the other one. So 4th mark comes from there. Samantha and Daniel takes the same time to travel from A to B. Samantha takes route 1 and travels 10 miles faster than the average speed. So the route A had that, so 10 miles faster. Okay, so 30 miles per hour, 30 miles at 50 miles per hour. So that's what Samantha takes. Okay, 30 miles at 50 miles per hour. That's Samantha's time. We can work out how long it will take or how quicker that would be. Daniel travels route 2, but not at the average speed. So Daniel takes the route 2. We need to work out what speed does it travel at. Okay, and they remember takes exactly the same time. Does the Daniel travel faster or slower than the average speed for the route 2, and by how much? Obviously, he has to be traveling faster or slower, it doesn't matter. So he has to be traveling faster to get to the same place. So we know that one, okay? So how long would that take, that person? Samantha, how long Samantha takes if she's traveling 30 miles at 50 miles per hour? So again, distance divided by speed, we will say it will take 30 over 50, 3/5 of an hour, okay? I can multiply by 60 to get into the minute. So 3/5 of an hour would be 36 minutes. Okay, Samantha will take 36 minutes. Now if Daniel has to be getting there in 36 minutes, what is the speed? He needs to travel 45 miles in 36 minutes. Okay, so what is the speed he needs to be traveling at? He needs to travel 45 miles in 36 minutes. So we know the distance for the Daniel. (45 miles), and we know the time, which is 36 minutes, which we can say 3/5 of an hour. Okay, or we can say 0.6 minutes or whatever we want to say, and that will tell you the time. No, sorry, that will tell you the speed. So 45 divided by 3/5. So if I do 45 divided by 3/5, you can use the fraction things here, okay? Change division to multiplication, so you do 45 multiplied by 5/3. And that will help you. So divide 45 by 3 gives you 15, and 15 times 5 is 75. So it needs to be traveling at 75 miles per hour. And when you do 45 times 5/3, it will give you 75. So initially he was traveling at 50 miles per hour. Now he needs to be traveling at 75 miles per hour. So he would be traveling 25 miles per hour faster to get there on the same time as Samantha. At the same time. Like and share with your friends, and if you want to and not subscribe yet, subscribe as well, okay? And thank you for watching this